crowd freaking roundup. Holy big week Batman. Huge properties. Kickstarter, Game Found. I'm really impressed by the quality this week. We need to talk and hopefully maybe not spend as much money. And we'll do a little bit of price comparison because that's always fun too, to see how things have been changing. Mark up, mark down, or mark sideways. Let's go. Don't mark out though. If I told you last week that the biggest funding games would not be the newest ones, but the retreads or reprints, would you have believed me that two of them are at $400,000 in a very short amount of time? And the first up here is Black Rose Wars, the revised edition, which is a crazy amount of money. But if you love Black Rose Wars, or you haven't gotten in at this point, this is an absolutely fantastic point to get in. At the same time, you have to love a little lengthier, heavier version of Wiz Wars, if you will, with an asymmetric school dynamic, with a player elimination, but not really getting eliminated until you gather up enough points in order to win the game. I love the idea of a fully written rule set, and I'm not sure how I feel about exclusive new content, but I love the idea of this game. This is an incredibly hard to table game though, because just like Guards of Atlantis 2, it requires a meta style situation in order to optimize it because it really bears repeated play. We saw Rebirth, which also changes up a few of the dynamics from the original in a positive way, including giving us tiles that flip over that are much more utilizable on both sides as well and not nearly as limited. It's cool. It's asymmetric. It's AP prone. It's going to be difficult. You're going to have the ability to update, to deck build in some ways and play these cards and just bash, smash, and crash into each other in cool ways. I want to see what they can do with this rulebook though, because that is by far and away the biggest barrier to entry. And this is apparently by far and away their biggest game, I would say, if you're coming back with this as a whole. I covered the Rebirth edition when it came out, or after it came out right there. What else are we getting that's exclusive though? Oh, an upgrade pack, Inquisitor, and a Tenet box. So that's maybe the stretch goal box, I'm assuming. So that'd be the thing I'd want to see is, you know, how, if you were one of the Rebirth people that just got that, you didn't see overlap at all between the mages of the factions, essentially, of you will, the classes, whatever. I'm forgetting the term, right? And so that'd be my only wish, is that if you could just get some of the content without having to buy the whole core again in that way, that would be my issue. Let's go and see, though, what we got here. Stretch goals. Funding stretch goals, expansion content, so just a unique character to go along with that. Okay, and that's fine, that's fine. The Lodge, we talked about all the game. Voice of the Dead, Destruction, Herald of Gaia, Keeper of the Stars. Okay. The avatars that you can do and fight against as well, because you can do that in addition. You know, everything is here. Okay, rule book. Is this the new rule book, though? Okay, it's the new rule book. So we'll see what that looks like. Brand new schools of magic. Okay, great. Other before never seen stretch goals and other content. So what is exactly new? Upgrade your original copy to revised stretch goals, exclusive expansion, and mysterious new expansion. Okay, I like the idea of this, but I'm not paying for unknown. So this is the unknown here. I need to see this. Okay, July 7. So you're going to make people wait almost 2 weeks for it to see, which is fine. At the same time, I've seen that hurt other campaigns significantly, although this one is clearly not hurting because of it in that way. Darkness, Ritualist. Again, they just have cool ideas for these, and I think they're really well thematically incorporated. So I'd be lying to you, as much as I have not played this game to any of the extent I need to, that I'm not interested in this game as well. So, yeah, it reminds me of God Tier in Guards of Atlantis 2. I have way too much of it. I don't play anywhere near enough of it. And it's one of those games that probably needs more attention. And if it was slightly shorter, I'd be all over it as well. Oh, yeah, sorry. That's what the avatars were, in case that wasn't clear. It's solo mode against a boss, if you will. So it's actually pretty good. So again, then, like I said, second up here, 400 grand as well. Deeper Regrets. Even Deeper Regrets. 7,300 people. I just was talking about this in my Don't Get It at Retail video. Are you getting this because you love this game? Or are you getting at this right now because you're seeing what other people are saying and you're thinking it's for you? Please don't be one of those people. It's highly luck driven. It's going to be lighter than you're expecting. If you want to get it all, you can. And that's okay. And people really do like it. But are you doing it for that? Are you doing it for the aesthetic? Are you doing it for the mechanics of this sort of press your luck style, card driven with some luck mitigation game? You can fish inland, you can get more fish and clout, you can get more supply cards, more regret cards, and a new plague. So it's just giving you more of a good thing in that way. Is it necessary? I have no idea. I haven't ended up with a copy. I don't know at this point. I don't know if this is for me. I've had it on my trade radar. I haven't really tried. Haven't even attempted to pick it up at retail. It was out of stock for all over the place, right? They run you through, though, what you're getting new here. The big difference, though, instead of just giving you that short synopsis, when you pull up the rule book here, the big changes. Inland, where you can fish or call for an ambulance, which allows you to essentially have the same action as the lifeboat, flipping your ambulance face down to make port immediately, but doesn't actually add a regret card, but does add 10 to the regret value. The clout, however, is the new system where you can catch fancier fish and earn fancier clout. The more you got, the more points you get. But the trick there, obviously, is that if you don't bling it out the most, you don't get squat. But if it runs out from the bag, you get to take it from the other because there's only enough clout to go around. So you can spend it and you can keep it. And again, like it says here, most 10, second most 5, everybody else jack frickin' squat. A few other tidbits that they include: peaking rules, some fish even jumping in your boat, polyps that are going to score based on the total number that are in play, and then pet rules as well. So what is the price point for something like this? All the regrets, and you get the new mini expansion for $89. Okay, $35 for an expansion. That seems expensive for an expansion, especially considering what you're getting. Okay, maybe not. Okay, that's a lot of more cards than I was expecting. So I think you're paying the indie price. I think you're paying the hotness price. And I think what Jamie says here is totally true. I think your art is what is selling a lot of people, and that's why I saw so many comments on Board Game Geek that are not liking it in the first place. So, you know, that's what you got to wonder. And if you're elsewhere in a different market, well, you have those options as well coming to you in the future. And that's still 40 pounds for this game, a card-driven game. That's a lot of money. Well, this might be the easiest way to get it, because although that seems like a lot, most retailers in North America are selling it somewhere between 43 and 50 bucks. So not that much less, even if you're doing the whole I get free shipping thing, because it also has to be in stock, which has also been the issue. Yes, it's expensive for a card game, but like I said, what is value to you? If this is yours, do it. If it's not, that's okay. Don't rag on other people's whose it is. Realm of Reckoning, also near $400,000. I had my review out earlier this week. I could easily make an argument that this is Mythic Mischief's successor in terms of the best Ivy Studios game for anyone that doesn't love abstract games, because Mythic Mischief is for me because I love abstracts. But if you took my love of abstracts out, this is easily the best other one, maybe up there just above Veiled Fate. Essentially what you're doing is a card drafting pass and play style of things, not in a Blood Rage style, but in an actual I play one every single turn, then I pass them. There's only 4 main mechanisms you're taking on those turns. You're getting your Acolytes, you're getting your Wardens, you're getting coins, or you're getting mercenary cards. All of those are ways in which you're going to be potentially bidding at the round when the reckoning happens 3 times over a 3-round period. So a total of 9 times, if that made sense. And you're playing then 15 cards total over these 3 rounds because you play 5 cards per round. The trick and the difference with this game is you can see these white blocks around the outside, right? Those are your monuments. There are about 17 different monument spaces around the edge of the board that all score differently. And you're only going to be able to play, well, about half of them, like I mentioned, based on the number of reckonings, because most reckonings will have 1 monument spot on it that you get to place if you win that reward based on your bid. And most of those bidding cards will reward you for getting those for first. Some of them, though, may not. And so that's the trick, is getting those to determine what scores in what rounds, because you're only going to have things that are going to score in the first round, and then you're going to have things that are score in the first and second round, and then in the first and second and third. So which do you want it to be? How do you tailor your strategy? Because also your bids are highly dependent on those resources that you need to control some of these areas that might also affect the other scoring avenues or aspects on it. And so it's a clever balancing mechanistic approach of both of these with a slight area control twist that I don't think we've really seen before. Make it at a lower player count and make it more approachable than a Veiled Fate that falls sometimes flat depending on the party and the style and the love of deduction as a whole. I think it's cool. Did I mention that you also tuck the cards as well? Yeah, more iconography use. And so 48-hour pledge reward is, well, by the time you guys are watching this, done. But it's a pin, but you still need to get $89 worth of content. So, well, that's only the base pledge. Again, Ivy Studios, I was just saying this with Deep Regrets, you're going to pay a premium price for a slightly more premium product. Are you okay with that? That's always the question I ask. Plenty of content on here. The How to Play from Ivy Studios does a really good job. The rulebook is fantastic as well. This is the one that I use to help learn it, and it just works. So, yeah, wood upgrades are very nice. The Acolytes, the Wardens, they both act in different ways. The Wardens give you a free, depending on how you have the totems matching in the area, because you're going to have these totems that actually you can take over from one area to where the Reckoning is happening, which allow you to utilize your other colors in that area if you have them matching, essentially. So, ooh, expansion content. 10 more monument scoring cards. That's exactly what I said in my review. I wanted a few of those that you could play over. Holy crap. It's like, you know, Austin, you read my mind. Holy crap balls. I'm not a big fan of the holographic stuff. That doesn't do anything for me, but that's cool. Okay. Yep. Yeah. That's the only thing I can say. That was my big criticism, was that I wasn't sure how equally efficient and great all of them were. So if you're allowing me to mix and match per my preference there during the game and before the game, yeah, I'd say apart from a Mythic Mischief Abstract outlier, this is their best one, period. And so take that for what you will. Go watch people who are smarter than me, though, because they will probably have better and smarter opinions as well. So give it a look-see. Machina Arcana, almost at 300,000 as well this week. I wasn't kidding about the money being thrown around here. This is one of the most unique dungeon crawl games out there. This is, without a doubt, an outstanding mechanistic approach. However, just like Black Rose Wars, the rule book on this one, as like the 4th edition of this at this point, often leaves a lot to be desired. And it's gone through rules after rules after rules. I ended up getting rid of it, actually, not because it wasn't a fantastic game, but like a Black Rose Wars or Guards of Atlantis 2, it requires dedication and deep understanding in multiple plays. It is also one of the most difficult dungeon crawls I have ever played. And I got rid of it very reluctantly, but I just said to myself, I'm never going to get it played, so I finally was able to not let it collect any more dust. But this is one of the preeminent dungeon crawls I would very reluctantly recommend because of also how good the gameplay is. It does stuff different with a dark horror experience, a run from your enemies style of things, only slug it out when you absolutely have to, and even I zone them out because I move across tiles and you only have so many tiles showing at a time. The shifting battlefield that they mention here. And yes, it is satisfyingly awesome. Such modularity. Again, like I had 3 expansions, I think, along with it, and Vivarium is offering more. But what is the new stuff adding? New card types, new scenarios, new encounters. So just everything new along those lines. Again, the terrain, though, it's hard to tell what's going on in some of these situations. I like the event unpredictability. Wouldn't mind something to, ramp or down, not up, the difficulty there. Random new environments. I mean, again, like this is a wet dream. If I had the most ideal scenario game, I would have absolutely no problem picking this one back up. Man, I want to own this game again, and I know my ability to get to the table is crap, but I can't just help have nostalgia for the several times that I was able to play my copy in the first place before I got rid of it. Faster gameplay. Okay, this is good. This is what it's needed. But the problem is, right, like full rules update. this should have been out like 2 or 3 times ago, because after every campaign, they've put out updates and, redos and things like that, which makes me just think that there is no or very little QA that was going into that in the first place. And the fact that it still is getting revised tells you some of those concerns. But it's freaking awesome. I'm not going to run you through all the mechanisms, right? You've got your enemies, you've got your truly crafted awesome standees, unique nightmares, your items that you're going to be equipping and combining, which all give you awesome combos and alterations. It really is fantastic. Again, 10 by 10 grids, 4 exits on each side of the map, and you just have events and environments along the way. The scrolling is unique. You don't see that in many of these other games. Chapters that you're playing through, which again make it difficult to get all the way through. The events that you're going to be dealing with, the guidebooks, all of that stuff, right? If Adriana Games wanted to send me the full Ultimate box again, I would be like over the moon. But it's also one that I would have to rededicate because it's just awesome. I don't think you need the miniatures. The standees are great. And this just looks like more of a good thing. But it's a bigger barrier to entry. And you need to be knowing what you're getting into things. And I think, if I remember, this is an old review. He really likes it too. So it's not, again, just me hyping things up. These are really, really well thought of games. Really, really good thing overall. So plenty of other people smarter talking about it, all the updates. And again, it's one of those where if you can get past the rule book, it, really does a great job. But it's mastering that rule book, which is such a huge thing nowadays. And sometimes when it's frustrating to get into in the first place, you know what you do, because I do the same thing. It gets a pass sometimes. Look, I wasn't kidding about the $400,000 thing, because now we have Lord of the Rings, the Confrontation, the Ultimate Edition. One of the most critically acclaimed games set in J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings universe. Ooh, comprehensive edition. I previously talked about the collector's edition, right? Consequently, though, the most interesting thing is they got rid of the pedestal, literal and figurative pedestal that they were putting this on. And now instead of $3,000, you can pay a paltry sum of about $2,200 instead for this made by dwarves and elves in the slave markets of Mordor gold-rimmed game, right? Again, I'm being tongue-in-cheek. You can also get the $50 or $120 version. I own both of the previous ones, and it's just enough different to make people like me semi-pseudo interested. As with all things, why make something new when you can make people pay for something that they already have? Again, sorry, I'm a little glass half empty this week. It's a fantastic game, though, in all seriousness, and I actually really, really like this game. Period. I'm biased towards it. Side note here, just a second. I love these random Board Game Geek user poll ratings that we see on like almost all the crowdfunding pages nowadays. Apparently this must be the marketing rage from, Flash Boom and game marketing and whatever else is. My bad pun on that other marketing spin and GameFound here, because GameFound has their own marketing brand now as well. So, yeah, those are the 2 editions that I have. So Ghost Galaxy is bringing us the Ultimate Collector's Edition. And let's be honest here, it's a collector's edition, not, I like the wording here, it's not the Ultimate Player's Edition, not the Ultimate Board Game Edition. The Ultimate, you're never going to play it because you're going to be too scared that you're going to wreck it or bend a corner, so it's never actually going to get any use edition. That style of things. So it looks fantastic. It's asymmetric Stratego, folks, and it's a meta-evolving game. That's all I can say. You have variant characters, you have draft play, and this is the problem, right? For people like me, I have 3/4 of this game in 2 separate boxes already, and now you're giving me an extra quarter that I don't have with new special cards and new special characters. Is this going to be at retail? And if it is, can you justify selling something like this for $50 at retail in North America? I don't freaking know. And I look at this as well, and I look at this and I go, I don't want half of this stuff. Painted character stands, a metal coin challenge. Are the reference sheets not even included? Okay, good. I was getting scared there by some of the other stuff. but hardcover rules compendium. Hardcover rules compendium. This game is not complicated. What the are you putting in a rules situation that is going to make it hardcover? It's going to be like a restaurant menu. It's literally hardcover on the outside. You open it up and there's no pages in the middle. Of course, I'm being facetious, and you're paying for sleeves as what? Wait, what? You're paying for sleeves and stands? Like, I don't. What? Why do you need both sleeves and stands? Aren't stands functioning as a sleeve in the first place? Are you that worried that you need to sleeve it inside the stand? Good gracious. And yet we're going down the page right here. Heirloom quality. That is a restaurant food descriptor to mark up the price if I've ever heard it. 1,000 copies of that. Only 1,000 copies of this. How many copies of this do you think you can actually manufacture, though, in a limited time frame? Or is this going to be like a Board Game Geek table where you can only do 10 a month? Can you imagine only being able to do like 50 a month and all 1,000 of these $2,200 game editions fulfilled? And you were waiting longer than what you'd wait for your Peterson Games game to get there? 30 points of interest. I mean, don't get me wrong. Again, it's beautiful. I love the art for this. I think this design is tremendous. If it was $600 or $700, but again, if you can drop the price point by like $800, it just makes me go, how much more is this actually costing? And you're getting profit-wise overhead there. So I can't get that out of my head. Holy F-balls, Batman. This weighs 123 pounds? What are you making this of? Like, side tables in my house are like 10, 15 of solid oak. Okay, maybe a little bit more. But you know what I'm saying? How is this 123 pounds? I don't know. I don't know. And the other thing that I was about to say before I get sidetracked by all this stuff, the cool art, I actually like this art. The issue being that right now there is no description of what is actually new. What did we do that's different besides the deluxeifications? What do you need to know about how this game exactly minutia differs from the first two that we showed you up there to highlight how atrociously ugly those game boxes are? Because they are ugly. I can attest to that first and foremost. But I guess I don't understand why you need character stands, although they look pretty cool, and sleeves. Okay. Hard rules compendium, so it has more lore. I know, and I was being tongue-in-cheek earlier, but I don't need lore more of the Lord of the Rings. Are you going to give me new lore for Lord of the Rings? Or strategy? This is Stratego. I can figure it out. I know it's more complicated than that, again, because I own the game and I've played it. But bonus content, like that doesn't enthrall me in that way. Okay, you're finally telling me what it is. You're secretly doing all of this stuff, outmaneuver, special ability, move them forward, reveal stuff, simultaneously do your battle thing. Text overrides it sometimes. Again, Stratego, and play until somebody wins. Okay, so we get to the pledge levels and you still don't freaking know what's what in terms of gameplay content. 5, 12, and 16-day reveals of stretch goals, and they, well, don't really tell us of any idea what they are. So wait. Let's go back a second, though. Great bonus content for your game. Great bonus content for your game. Great bonus content. So that, again, doesn't tell me if it's gameplay or not. So, right? Ooh, that coin is 13 bucks. And I guess I do give them kudos for being able to essentially, well, buy out these a la carte, these painted character stands, deluxe storage boxes, and the Ultimate Edition playmat. So I like that, and I will give some kudos there where kudos is due. But again, did you see anything on the page that said what the actual gameplay new is? No. I'm sorry, Ghost Galaxy, that is really irritating. It's irritating. Because the whole thing of saying that your obsolete editions need to be replaced, tell me why. Because this is out of print, people are clamoring to get it because it is a fantastic game, and it is Lord of the Rings. But as I say on the don't back it, buy it videos, don't get suckered in because it's Lord of the Rings. Get suckered in because you love what it's presenting mechanically, and go watch reviews of the old games in the first place. So I guess the problem, though, is Although there's nothing on the actual main page, you have to scroll through 28 updates at the time of me filming this to find some discussion of the different gameplay, because I do like the putting the text on this so you don't have to memorize it. That's a great boon for someone like my wife who doesn't internalize these things as well as I do. Like, that's just our different play style. I internalize. She likes to read it and be reminded of it in order to whip my butt when it comes to this style of stuff. But I also don't like having to scroll through to find, okay, this is what's different. Why isn't any of this on the page? This is the stuff when you say, okay, we're going to test this out. We're going to do these new cards. We're going to have all these special effects, these treacheries, and everything else along the way. Again, why is this not part of the page? And I don't know why. I can't think of a reason, but it should be front and center in my opinion. Paperback adventures. Now, I love the idea of this from Flowers. I am not a big word person when it comes to games whatsoever. Scrabble, nope, can't do it. But you're giving me roguelike deck building. And from all of the smartest people in the hobby, they say this is an absolutely fantastic game. And now you give me the ability to play 4-player co-op with whatever the freaking deuce a binding nexus is called. You've got me intrigued. The problem I have, though, see, again, all the smartest people love it. So don't listen to anything I say. 2 new characters to go along with it, as well as a big box. If you, I mean, that's kind of that's kind of ugly though with those injection molded trays. I don't know. I'm sure it looks better in person. I'm sure it's just a rendering, but it is going to cost you $110 for all of that stuff. $60 just for 2 of these, which is actually in line with things, because I had to look this up before I talked about this campaign, because I said, holy crap, is this actually this expensive? Paperback Adventures Volume 1 for all of these 4 core boxes. Yeah, it is $100. That's actually what it's going for, or like $110 even on Fowler's website, because they don't offer wide distribution otherwise at main retailers. And so that was my issue, because even the expansions are going for $30. So, fortunately or unfortunately, this is the cheapest way to get it. But, if you're looking to get in it at this point, this is, well, a 25% markup compared to the first campaign, because the first campaign, this right here, I'm assuming this includes stretch goals. If it doesn't, then I'd be a little bit more even irritated. But this pledge level was $79 in the first campaign. So you're definitely getting rewarded if you got in the first time, if nothing else. But you don't need all of that stuff either, because again, they're all $27 here. And comparatively, right, $27, you can do the math for $108. But that's an $8 price difference. But it's going to cost you about what, like $160 just to get all the gameplay stuff, which is a lot of money for something like this, truth be told. And I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I love the idea of it. I love the idea of this, the unique, distinctive play styles that we see with a Slay the Spire type with words, right? I love the idea of cooperatively, though. And that would be the thing that I would have to have. But am I going to want all of these, like 5 characters to give me what I need in that way? That would be my issue. So big box, like I talked about, talks you how to run and play it out. You lay cards down, they give you icons, you defeat enemies. They have 2 phases, 2 stages, if you will. Stun it and then defeat it in order to win. Plan accordingly, because you can see what they're doing. So again, there's plenty of content out there, but this is going to cost me nearly $200 to get it. And truth be told, I'm seriously looking at this because it's not widely available. I don't see people selling it on the secondary market. As much as I hate to say, like, I don't need another game like this, I want this now. I'm a little bit FOMO hyping myself up for this, and I shouldn't be, but I am. And yet somehow this is flying under the radar this week because it only has 100,000, but that's still freaking awesome regardless, because it's freaking awesome, right? 6 digits. It's 6 digits more than I've ever raised. Okay, board game table. Also, look at this, $390,000. You can't make this schnikey stuff up, right? This is like 4 campaigns sitting at $390,000 almost simultaneously in a week, right? This is another game table and storage towers, because storage towers. Anyway, as I always say with tables, go try them out in person, because I just don't know size-wise, height-wise, fit-wise, color scheme design-wise to match my decor, because my wife would really be concerned about that. I love this. I would love a table. I love the idea of this. I would love to have a dedicated place to put this. I think the glowing actually looks freaking sweet. I would love all of this. Is it worth it, though? Can you actually utilize it, because I'll also make the argument that my kitchen table works pretty well from that aspect in addition. So wow, that's actually a quick turnaround. Boxkin Gaming. So yeah, I think I've been in contact with them. I think I owe them an email actually. So I'm maybe gonna see. Maybe they'll support me. Maybe they'll sponsor my channel. Ooh, I'd take a board game table. Would you? Hell Legends, right? Hodari Spiel. And you may not remember them, but they brought us Galaxy Postman, a completely different game though this, because this is Diablo the board game. They're going for it. They've got different levels of terrain. They've got 20 skills per hero that you're going to be able to upgrade based on the experience that you're going along. You're taking 3 actions on your turn, doing the event cards, which are going to activate the bad guys, and then rinsing and repeating. You have 8 available actions and 7 free actions to choose from, and all you have to do is assign your token to it. So it's not an action point system, or, you know, this is 6 and this is 2 and this is 4, and which ones do I combination and how do I out? You know, and they just went straight up with it, right? But you're going to have slots for gear, you're going to have slots for items, and you're going to be fighting a whole ton of enemies to go along with this. So 36-page rulebook as the demo rulebook right now has 3 different modes as well. You've got Legend, you've got Hunt, and you've got Defense mode. Legend is just your main mode. You're going through and playing the campaign as advertised. The defense mode is actually a tower defense, meaning you go until a monster gets in there, and then hunting is while you're going for hunting. We talked about the terrain. We talked about all of the stuff that they're going to be offering. And you need to know there is a supporting app that you kind of sort of need to use, I believe. Now, this is interesting, right? There will be no retail release. That is very specific information, very specific wording there. Not wide distribution to publishers. They're saying flat out no retail whatsoever. So that's going to be a tricky thing. Is it going to be a townsfolk tussle? Okay, if it is, great, fantastic. But if it's not going to be, don't put it on the page in the first place, right? So 115 euros though is what it's going to cost you. 175, it's going to cost you 30 extra euros per expansion. And from what I can tell, there's about 6 heroes in the base game. The hero expansion for 30 euros is going to give you 4 more. The monsters expansion is going to give you 12 more monsters compared to what is in the base game. A few stretch goals here. You're getting 1 extra character, but I can't tell if this is actually the extra character they have planned in the rulebook, because there's got like 2 of the 6 that are like blacked out that they don't tell you about. Offline mode, whatever that is, download it without using the app. There you go. And another hero. So again, are those your 2 heroes that were included? You can miniaturize this up. You can neoprene mat it. Right, here you go. You can do the battle and the fight without any of the story parts. So that's what the hunt mode is. You choose your hero, you choose your skills, you upgrade them, you take your actions and your stories and your whispers and all of your items that you're going to be slowly gathering, trying to learn, improve, level up, gather all the loot you can, and go. So there's the 3D element that I was talking about. And let's take a look here, because again, I don't remember how many monsters are actually included in the base game, but is that going to tell me? I may have missed it, but maybe not. So again, I guess I just look at it from a 30 euro standpoint. Is 12 extra monsters, 4 extra heroes going to be something that's worthwhile in that way? And compared to the base game, really, because value expansion-wise is always in the eye of the beholder. This is the story situation. You've got branching narrative and the web app and the additional benefits. So it might be a FOMO side of things. Oh, here we go. 20 secret standee monsters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 monsters there, maybe 14 if you're lucky. So that expansion for the monsters actually sounds really good if you're going to over double or almost double my amount of monsters there. Miniatures are fine, but I just pay for the standees, especially with the price point. It is what it is. So we have plenty of German playthroughs and videos too, if you're looking at that as I'm scrolling. But there you go, right? That's why it's cheaper in Germany. From Germany? Okay, so there you go. But they're adding, as I say here, 10% buffer to all shipping prices to account. But they may lower them. So we'll see. Hell Legends. Wild Hunt Festival Chronicles. JRPG game is back. Now, This, I don't know how well received this was the first time around, the boss battle board game. I thought the idea of this was fantastic. The execution, from what people were saying in this world of Cradia, was not as enthralling as people were hoping for, because it was very, very straightforward in terms of, and this is the quote I've seen, I'm not saying this myself, it plays itself, but just you do this, it becomes obvious, you do this, it becomes obvious, you do this, it's very linear in that way. And they're just giving us more. A little standalone expansion here, as well as 5 new heroes, 8 new bosses, and a roguelike dungeon mode. So maybe that addresses the criticisms in that way in the first place. And if it does, that's pretty freaking good. So gather your hero, set up your dungeon, go through, fight the bosses. And yeah, there's enough content out there that this is a known quantity. Again, I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit more of the nuance of what makes some of these aspects different on the page. I actually don't even see the rule book on this page either, so those two things would be really super helpful, but it's been on Board Game Geek for a while, so you can check it out there. Baron John's 2025 card game collection. We've got 4 trick takers here. Solar Eclipse, 3 Tricky Pigs, Hen House, and Scooby-Doo the Board, mystery tricks. So what you've got going on, we'll give you a brief synopsis. You figure out whether or not you're going to look at these rules and see if any of them are right for you. We have 3 Tricky Pigs, where each of the 3 suits of the pigs are all asymmetric numbers. The Brick Pig, for example, is the hardest working. His are highest, then stick, then hay. And you go, and you normally don't want to be the highest. However, unless the wolf card comes out, then you want to be the highest to win the trick, because again, this is a trick prediction style game. You'll also have ways to change your values with huff and puff and blow the house up, actually. So you can bid 0, and you get to choose your bidding and keep it secret until the end of the hand. So you want to fool your opponents at what you're going for. So that's that one. Hen House is a trick-shedding combination melding game, because you can meld chickens, you can meld eggs, you can meld brown cards, you can meld white cards, and you do the scout sort of situation, trying to shed your hand before everyone else. But don't worry, you can change up the rules as you go along with the snake, fox, and skunk card, which, as the skunk card says, literally turns the game on its head upside down. So fox removes a chicken, and then snake obviously eats eggs, so it removes an egg, allowing you, I think, to get your cards gone faster, but at a price, it says, too. Mystery Tricks, Scooby-Doo the Board Game Trick Taking, is cooperative, sort of, what's that firework-based game? I'm always forgetting that one. But basically, you pass your hand to somebody else, and then they have to play it face down. And then when you get to the end of 4 cards left, then you have to decide whether or not you can actually win if you have all 4 suits that give you the gang, the monster, the suspect, and the crime. And there's going to be missions to go along with it. So a little bit of scout meets whatever that fireworks game is that I'm always blanking on, and then also maybe the crew. And then we have Solar Eclipse here, and this is a secret bidding partially hidden depending on daylight or nighttime. You're playing 2 cards. If it's daytime, they're known. If it's nighttime, they're unknown. You have to skill deceive and trying to figure out, well, how to beat your opponents in that way. So there you go. 4 unique trick-taking games. Give it a look. Which is Quarrel. Now, this has 16 grand, which is super impressive for a game I never heard of. It's a 2-player trick-taking game that you start off with a narrative adventure to thematically incorporate what you're doing with secret envelopes. A total of 36 as you're going along. You only start out with 3. You don't even have to shuffle as you complete rituals and use your spells to duel, essentially. And tender, character-driven story to minimize hurt feelings, a handicap system to hold your hand and prevent long winning streaks, and it's made for players of any skill level to enjoy together. I have no clue, because the only stuff on here is preview content, and I'm not clicking on the preview content to tell you more. But if you want to, you can do that and let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I'd like a rule book, though, to tell me a little bit more in general. But 16 grand, give it a look. Then Kryptothera, hunting cryptids in Art Deco, $63,000. So you're going to be paying a coin at the beginning of your turn, taking an event that happens on a round-by-round basis, and then using your action points to move across the grid to then use skill check-based dice systems in order to capture a cryptid and bring it back. But there is going to be PvP or lose health in those events as you're going along. And you are scoring points based on the money that you have as well as the cryptids that you are capturing. But they have to be captured and brought back as your pick up and delivering. But it's really a movement action point system with pick up and deliver with a little bit of take that. So those are the things that you're collecting. Those are the points that you're going for. And you can just respawn after you get taken out, but you lose all of your captured cryptids, if I'm believing that to be the case. There are 4 different tiers of these cryptids, as you can see here. Basically a easy, medium, hard, and legendary style that you are going to be going for and dealing with. So base game, board map, 6 players, 6 standees, all of the cryptids I just mentioned. What do we got expansion content wise? Frontier, 1 new player board, so play it with 7 people, or maybe just mix and match with the same 6. And more events, more items, crew cards, and then a cryptid expansion here. Again, just more cryptids. Okay, so you've got it broken into different sets here. Ooh, this is another cryptid in the nighttime hiding from you. Mountains and sea ones. Okay, and then threat was never higher. More stronger cryptids. Oh my gosh, it's still going on. Solo expansion cryptids. United We Hunt co-op mode cryptids. Holy cow. Whoa, we still going? Oh no, this is bestiary. Yeah, that's a lot of content. So what is the price for this one? £69 for the base game and $149 for, ooh, that's not even, no, that's not all of it. That gets you just a little portion of it. Whoo, my goodness, £350 for all of that stuff I was just going over, including a custom inlay. Your name on a cryptid card. Okay, I gotta take a break and look at this, see if how many people are getting their names on a cryptid card. 14 people are getting their names on an adopted cryptid card, so take that for what you will. Some comments here about how they think it was cool, and I'll leave you to check out the videos. But like I said, pay, reveal, move across the map, encounter a cryptid, use your skill dice, capture it, place it on your player board, stock up somehow on these resources by going to the shop, get more upgrades and bring them back to restore your health and deal with things and score points. So again, I need to see more from, again, I kind of think mechanically it'd be a little bit light, but for a 60 to 90 minute game, it seems like it would be longer than what it appears. But I mean, I think people seem enamored with the artwork. Are they enamored with the gameplay? And that's what we'll see. You tell me. Homestead Hyperjump, cooperative sci-fi adventure, $22,000. And it's got sort of the FTL style vibe that we've seen recently out of these spacefaring games where you are crew members of a ship trying to make your way from one part of the galaxy to the other. At the beginning of the game, you choose your asymmetric crew member of these 18 that are available to you. As you slowly explore the sector tiles, have events happen along the way, utilize your abilities to help repair the ship, navigate the ship, or use the ship in the first place, and then deal with encounters that happen. You're going until you reach a certain part of the galaxy and you find it. 125, whoa, deluxe tier, and you get a ship plaque certificate. Whoo, boy. Okay, you get colony cards though, deluxeification, and a mini expansion. Okay, what are you getting with the mini expansion? Ports of Call and Long Night get more mystery, intrigue, and chilling horrors lurking in the void. Strange Days, again, breaking the rules of space in general. Settled Fate colony cards and a plaque. Okay, nope, pass. We talked about this, your crew selection, your exploration, your encounter phase, the crew phase, and then the win or lose that I mentioned here. I'm sorry, I have to mention this quote. There's a good chance you're going to fight some stuff. How is that helpful from a crowdfunding standpoint? I'm not necessarily putting it on her, right? I'm looking at Ship and Star Games and going, what does that even mean? If you're a backer looking at that, like, how do you interpret that? Anyway, there's a ton of extras, though, and I just wonder how many of those extras would be essential and how many of those wouldn't be. But there's a lot of stuff going on here with these chance cards and all of the variety that's going to be in these different areas that I mentioned. So, I mean, it's funded. We'll see if they hit any stretch goals. It's their first created, but looks intriguing enough to maybe put it on your radar, if nothing else. Homestead Hyperjump. Grail Games, Pixel Series. And yes, these totally are supposed to be, again, related, just like how Legends is to Diablo. These are to some classic games that you might recognize. Aliens Attack is the first one. Tell me if you've seen this Space Invaders style thing. Solo adventure game. Ships from an alien planet are attacking. You have to save the Earth by having 3 of these cards that are double-sided, and you get 6 actions, and you spend 1 of them to perform it, to deal with the enemies, flip it over, and get a different action. Saw that with Battle Crest over from the Button Shy style of things. Firing your cannon, and then you find all of the portions of the mothership, and you get the final battle commencing. But don't worry, you get to roll a die that enacts the mothership's effects. Okay, there you go. Variant for solo as well as 2 people if you want that. Ohio Bob. Well, you're navigating sort of an Indiana Jones Tomb Raider style of things, trying to get the ancient amulet from a defended dungeon. Maybe you'll even have a big boulder roll after you. I mean, again, anyone who's probably over the age of 35 might not get that reference. I'm sorry. We're just talking about a different old-time reference with the Baskerville situation. If, again, tell me what you know about that. Without Googling it, hit me up in the comment section down below. Do you actually know what I'm referring to when I make the pop culture reference of Baskerville? Anyway, you're getting double-sided cards that you use, again, for the tools and making your way through 3 floors of the temple as you're getting different dungeon layouts. So 2 players and never feeling the same. Harvest Valley, oh, you know what game this is copying. It's just gameplay farming, and you get a house full of cards and you score based on the cards around them. Very straightforward. And last but not least, level 10. Okie dokie. You're actually doing something kind of clever and completely different here as you're trying to get Izzy through these levels, and you play them in a 5x10 grid. The reset cards included, 40 level cards, as they have to move across in a certain order to allow for her to do that. So you play a level, play a pause card, reset cards for each of the worlds, resetting to 0, and then, well, if you play them all, you win. Anything less than that, and it's a lose. Some variability to go along with it. Early bird packs, 4 packs, 3 packs, 10 packs, 8 packs, 6 pack, like I've got. But that's all you need to know. Grail Games is giving it to us here for $7,000. Casual Game Insider, Board Game Magazine, 14th year of putting out paper copies. And I think they do electronic too, right? Yeah, they're going digital only actually this year. Holy cow. So you got some endorsements by, again, better people than me. And they're getting content with insightful articles, unlike my channel. So give them a look. And if you want some of that style of a magazine, there you go. Again, everyone else is telling you it's awesome. So you need to go check it out for yourself and see how you feel about a year subscription or a lifetime digital subscription. That's kind of cool, actually. Digital subscription, lifetime, $40. You're going to spend more on shipping on one game this year on crowdfunding, guaranteed. So think about that one. Then, last up, Cringemon. It's cringe. It's TCG with monsters of LinkedIn. I'm not sure if these are real people. Hopefully these are AI generated. Hopefully they're not AI generated at the same time. That's just kind of weird. Anyway, so you just get cards and they're weird, and I'm not even sure if there's a game here because I didn't spend enough time looking at it, but I thought I'd throw it out there anyway for you to see because somehow it's got $1,800. That means I should totally do a crowdfunding at some point if that can get $1,800, right? No, I can't get that much. That's it. No, seriously, I actually kind of do have a 6-pack. And so for a 40-year-old, for having a 6-pack, sorry, that's not why you tuned in. Yeah, crowdfunding roundup this week. I told you, lots of money getting thrown around. Again, like nothing like 7 digits that's coming, but it's really kind of impressive that you have that many games that are easily going to cross the $500,000 mark, all going simultaneously. So it's always a fun talk. Even when you have something arguably one of the best games of all of them, even funding less in a paperback adventures style of things. Again, I just like talking about stuff because funding isn't the most important thing, as always. So there will not be this video next week. I am on vacation. So maybe double after that, depending on what the first-ish week looks like. And probably not a whole lot, though, because it's sort of around that July 4 holiday North America side of things. So I wouldn't be surprised if people are shying away from that week in general, but who knows? I don't have a freaking clue. I'm just the idiot talking to you. So, as always, your local idiot in chief. Have a great freaking fantastic weekend. Stay classy. Peace out. See you later.